Welcome to Davy's Take. Today we're talking about Joker, Folie, Deux, the long-awaited and anticipated sequel to Joker. So Joker 2 takes place about 2 years after the first film. Arthur's in Arkham. He's awaiting his trial for all the things he did in the first movie. And he meets Harley Quinn. And some shenanigans, some shit happens, and that's what the movie's about. I love the first Joker film. It's actually the first film I reviewed on this channel, and I gave it my highest score. And I rewatched it a couple days ago, and it still holds up. I would still give it a perfect score. I think that film just has so much to say. It's shot beautifully with amazing performances, and it was just a fantastic movie. So when they announced they're making a sequel to this and bringing everyone back, of course I was extremely excited. And I was one of the few people I feel like that was excited to hear that this was going to be some sort of musical. So I love musicals, and I love the idea of a director or a filmmaker taking a really weird risk, especially a film that's in such a big franchise and a sequel to a film that people absolutely love. So I had extremely high expectations for Joker 2, and oh boy. Look, I didn't hate this film, and I don't think it's terrible, and I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as people are going to say it is. I just thought this film was just so disappointing. My biggest fear for this film, and I guess really any sequel to movies that I love, is that the film won't justify why it was made, and maybe ruin things from the first film that I loved originally. And unfortunately, there's moments in this film that did that and really irritated me. And I'll be honest, I like to just think that the original film just exists, and that's it. It's going to be very hard to express why I feel this way, because I'm not going to spoil anything, because I know people are really excited for this movie. I just think there were a lot of good intentions here, a lot of great ideas, honestly, but they just fell flat. So I'll first talk about the thing I think people are most curious about is this film a musical? And I'm just going to come out and say, yeah, this is straight up a musical. I know Todd Phillips said, no, it's not really a musical, it's like all going to work, but it is a musical. And for me, there are parts of this film with the musical numbers that I thought were great. And what they're trying to say about Arthur's mind and what he's expressing, I thought was extremely well done and extremely entertaining. But that's about 40% of the musical stuff in here. The other 60% almost feel a little forced and just uninspired. Like, there's nothing creative about it. Like, there's 3 musical numbers here that I thought were great, and it really felt like they were trying to get creative and express a lot of things that Arthur's feeling, but the rest just felt like we put this in there because we said it was a musical, but at the same time, they're, like, scared to go all out. Like, this is a musical about Joker's mental insanity. I feel like you can go fucking crazy here. But it felt like the filmmakers were holding back a little bit. I can appreciate a big swing for the fences in having this creative idea, because on paper, making this a musical makes a lot of sense to really explore Arthur's mind, but it was a swing and a miss. Like I said, I appreciate the try, but honestly, I don't think it really worked as a musical. It could have been just a regular drama. But that's not why I was disappointed with this film. I think the biggest bummer about it is that the story has nothing new to add or say. Like, the first film had this message about mental health, helping people out, not ignoring it, that I thought was very strong, and it stuck with me for a very long time. In Joker 2, there are some things they're trying to say that I appreciate about kind of morphing yourself into something you're not, for loved ones or how people see you and how you want people to love you. But what they're trying to say isn't really too interesting, and they don't really go into it too much. And the problem with it too is it kind of goes against some of the things that happened in the first film that made it so great. And that's why the final act of this film felt so irritating, because it doesn't really lead to anything. There's things that are happening that don't really have much weight or reasoning to be in the film, and like I said, it kind of ruins some of the things that I loved about the first film. And then the final shot of the film almost feels like a big fuck you to the audience from Todd Phillips. Like, it feels like a joke, which is ironic because this is a Joker movie. But I was just sitting there thinking, like, I get what they're trying to say, but I can't believe someone in a room thought that was a good idea. It just made the whole film feel like they just didn't really know what they wanted to do with the story, how they wanted to continue on the story of Arthur Fleck. Because Todd Phillips has said that the original film was just supposed to be one film, and that definitely seems like the case here, because it does seem like they didn't really know what to do. And that's why the film is so disappointing to me, because it really feels like they didn't really have anything here. They're just making a sequel because they could. Like, a lot of these scenes almost feel like we're just rehashing the events of the first film, and there's nothing really going on. Sure, there are parts in here where we reflect on some of the moments from the first film and how it's affect Arthur. I thought all that was really effective. But like I said, a lot of it just feels like retelling some of the things that happened from the first film with nothing new to say and nothing new to do. So the movie can be kind of a drag, which is surprising to say because it's a Joker movie that's a musical to a sequel to one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. But there are parts in this film I did really enjoy. There are moments where we really dive deep into Arthur's character and how it's really developed him. I thought all those parts were really fascinating. And of course, the movie's just gorgeous. Like, this is one of the best shot films all year, just like the first film. Like, the cinematography here is incredible. It looks great. And of course, the performances here are fantastic. Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck / Joker is obviously great. It's like he didn't miss a beat from that first film. There's a lot of things they do with his character here. Like I said, some I really didn't like, but there's parts I did like. But Joaquin Phoenix nailed it. This is his first ever sequel, so he could have maybe just phoned it in, but he didn't. He did a great job. And Lady Gaga was fantastic here. Obviously, her singing is great, but what I really loved about her performance is how much of a psychopath she was. And the chemistry between her and Arthur was really believable, and it was developed well, and I really understood her intentions, and I just thought she did a great job. But unfortunately, as a massive fan of the first film, I was disappointed by Joker Folie Deux. I think if you really like that first film, there are moments that you'll really appreciate and enjoy. The filmmaking is fantastic, you'll love the performances, and like I said, there are moments that you'll enjoy. But overall, the musical stuff, for me, about 40% of it worked. So this film probably shouldn't have been a musical. And then the overall story is the biggest disappointment because it felt like there was nothing new to add here. It felt like they didn't really know what to do with the story. And by the end, they do things that I think really irritated me, that ruined some of the things I loved about that first film and this character of Arthur Fleck. And having time to think about it, I can honestly say I would rather, in my head, just think that Arthur Fleck's story ended at the end of that first film, and we just never got this. But like I said before, I do appreciate filmmakers trying something completely new and different, which this film feels like it is. Unfortunately, it just didn't really work. I'm going to give Joker Folie Deux 5.5 Davey Daves. I feel like I'm saying the title of the movie wrong, so I should have probably just said Joker 2 the whole time, but I guess it doesn't matter. And yeah, I mean, this is probably the most disappointing film I've seen this year. Probably in a while, honestly. I did have high hopes for this, so that kind of sucks. So, Joker Folie Deux, or Joker 2. Let me know what you guys thought of it once you've seen it. I'm curious to hear. And thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Davey Takes.